Hello, hobby friends. It's me, Craig. How are you today? Welcome to the R. Eldar Webway weekend live stream number 9. We've done 9 of these beasts, and this month has been an extra special month because we've had 2 this month because I couldn't do one at the end of August. So yeah, welcome. The name of the game is to share the stuff that you're working on. Ostensibly it's the Eldar Webway weekend, so you know, space elves are preferred, but if you're working on anything, just post it. There's a link to the Discord in the the video description. There's a link to the Discord there. You'll find a little channel called Webway Weekend, and you can post stuff that you're working on right now. Just take a snap with your phone or whatever you've got, no airs or graces here, and stick it in that little chat room, and it will be excellent. I want to see what you're working on. We all want to see what you're working on. Which reminds me, this month, this stream, we're missing Science Pie. Boo. So we won't have nice Mr. Science Pie. Hello, Will Miller. Long time no see, sir. How are we? And Mr. Mechanical Paul as well. Very nice of you to join us, boys. What was I saying? Yes, Mr. Science Pie is not with us today, boo, because of schedule conflicts, so that is a shame. Which means that we might be in as what's his name? Winters SEO. I always get the names of those two guys mixed up. Winters SEO says we might be invaded by Slanesh, so yeah, I'm sorry about that. That's when you get weird bots and spam people putting rubbish into the chat. I will do my best to keep on top of that and delete those when they come up, but yeah, otherwise just ignore and don't click any links. Don't click any links unless, you know, Science Pie does pop in and stick the link for the Discord. You can follow that link. That one should be safe. So yeah, how are we, or what are we working on? Have we got any exciting hobby projects going on? Did we play any exciting games? I just got word from my mate James, who I mention regularly. Mew and Life is here as well. Good evening, Mew and Life. Yeah, James was playing a game today, Orcs versus Black Templar. Am I making that up? That's right, Black Templar. What am I saying? The black ones, the black space marines that hate Xenos. What are they? Are they the Templars? I'm getting my... Yeah. Oh god, I don't know my space marines. I don't care. This is an Eldar weekend. I don't care about your stupid space marines. So yeah, and apparently he actually managed to beat them, which is... Oh no, it was a draw. It was a very tight game and a draw. It came down to the last... what's the face? He was saying the last fight, which is very cool. So we were talking about the fact that the best kinds of games are close games. Those are my favourites, when you're like right on the edge, when it's like when someone just dominates the whole game. You play it, you have fun, you roll the dice, you have a laugh. Death Watch, thank you very much, Paul. Yeah, I'm getting... Templars are the silver dudes, right? I don't know. Space Marines, who cares? I should catch him. I feel like the Eldar equivalent of what's his name, who does all of the leak videos and all that kind of stuff, and he always has that Space Marine game in the background, because every time he talks about Xenos, he's like, I don't know anything about Xenos, so I'm just going to say this wrong, and then proceeds to pronounce everything wrong and get it all wrong. But bless him for all his leaks and information, I suppose. Anyway, I'm the Eldar version of that. Space Marines, what are they? The Black Death Lars? I don't know. Enjoy what you can. Look at this giant mug of tea I've got. Size of my head. Delicious. Decaf, of course. It is late. It is getting on. But I'm feeling the winter draw in as well a bit as well. I'm feeling a bit... I don't know. My husband's been feeling under the weather today, and my mum was visiting and she was feeling under the weather as well, and my dad, who wasn't visiting unfortunately, but he's under the weather, so there's lots of weather to be under apparently. And Dargo's here as well. Oh, isn't it lovely? We've got the whole family gather round in the depths of winter. Well, even close to the depths of winter. It was a lovely day in London today, actually. It was gorgeous. All right, banging on about what is he talking about? He's not talking about anything to do with Eldar, or even Warhammer. I am doing my very best to find. That's the one I'm looking for, so that I can do this. Oh wait, I'm just going to move that. Oh, I've got a preview, so I can see what I'm about to show you. All right, okay. It's my hands. Hello, everybody. So yeah, what am I working on tonight? Well, the thumbnail is always the clue, isn't it? So jet bikes. But I actually have a lot of jet bikes already. For an Ulthway force, I feel like I've got a lot of jet bikes. It's like I've got like 9 of them or something, which is probably more. And then I've got 6 shining spears as well. So I think I have enough big jet bikes. But what about little jet bikes? How's that? Teeny tiny little... My camera's really high up today. I normally have it a bit lower, but look at the teeny tiny jet bikes. These are from Vanguard Game. It's the same ones that I put in the video the other day when I did 6mm Space Elves. And they're lovely. They look very pink at the moment, but I think... No, the bikes themselves are looking pretty orange, and that's going to be black anyway. Anyway, well, you'll see soon, or we'll talk about it, because I think I might want some feedback on this. But anyway, that's what I'm painting tonight, but not one, obviously, because they're miniature, so that would be done like miniature. That'd be done in no time. So I've got 2, and then I thought, well, 2, that's, you can do better than 2, Craig. So I've got 2 more, and then I did one more anyway. Thought, why not? There you go. How many is that? 5? Yeah, 5. I was going to do 6, but I 3D print these bases myself, and one of them failed. So where is he? He's over there. Can't be bothered getting him. So not 6, which I think is a nicer number. 5. 5 is a nice number too. We like 5. 5 will do very nicely. All right, let's catch up. Let's see what we're saying in the chat. So, Mr. George Wilson. Mr. George Wilson, are you in the Discord server already? Do I know you, recognise you? Have you been... I'm so terrible with names, and the problem is that like so many people have multiple names, and Me When Life puts local furry in brackets after everything, so I can always kind of follow that one around. But sometimes some people, I'm afraid, I lose track of who you are. So let me know who you are in the Discord server if you're in there. Unless you're called George Wilson, then it'll just be embarrassing. So, just don't say anything. All right, he's finished converting some brother characters for a pair of Ortuks. Well, I hope you're posting that in the Discord, because I love to see Eldar conversions. I think Eldar... I'm not much of a converter anyway, and I think that must be really... I always think, maybe it's not true, but Eldar must be really hard to convert. There's just something about them being cleaner and smoother and prettier than a lot of the other races that make me think, surely it doesn't, it's harder. But then, I do see good conversions, so we might even get visited by Baharoth, Cry of the Old Paint, later, and he does, some of the best conversions ever. All right. So Paul was just popping in and popping out again. I see. Okay. Well, raise your mail back to us indeed, sir. And hello, Mr. Will Miller, Mr. Me When Life. Not many minis happening recently, but hoping to get some done this eve. Yes, sir. Do it. The Discord link should be live. Will someone tell me if the Discord link Valrak is the one? Thank you. McCugglepool just flies in before his steak and just like fills my brain in with all of the things that I'm missing. Lovely. Good. Yes, so if that Discord no, not on my Discord yet. Okay, is that link not working? Just let me know. It should be. I thought it should be a permanent one, but if it's not, then what I'll do anyway is just pop over here, create invite, copy, and then I'll just pop that in there. There you go. There's a Discord link that I've just posted into the chat. So if the one in the description is not working, that one is, and I will do my best to remember to post that regularly. But if I haven't for a while, just say, by the way, if there's some new people in or whatever, you need to post that thing again. Sorry, we're going to have a bit of ASMR tea drinking, I think, over the course of this little thingy-mabob. Get rid of that. Oh, no. Come on, someone post something. Someone post something in the thing. You better be working on something. Yeah, so me when life does not have anything to work on till tomorrow. Well, oh no. I thought it was going to be the dwarves, but apparently not. It's going to be a war walker. And then finally getting the codex. Well, sir, better late than never. Join the party. Join the party. All right, I'm looking at these little chappies, and I mean, they've got a match. I've got some. Here's some I painted earlier. Not jet bikes, but they've got to match these guys, right? Which are not. They're not. It's not the most complicated paint job in the world. Just got to remember how I did it, what I did, because it was a little while. Oh, you know what? I think I did. I remember talking about this in the video about mixing your own contrast paint, kind of on the fly. So I guess that's what I've got to do, and it'll be, I guess, quinacridone magenta, and then a little bit of purple on the top as a highlight. That's something I want to improve actually on these. I was going fast, and the highlight, the like edge highlight thing on the helmet is a little bit kind of blobby, so we can do better than that, I reckon. Yeah, but we'll do that. That's what we'll do. I'm going to get rid of my furs because I'm a bit warm, I won't lie. Hang on a second. Get rid of that. All right, and then I know that we need to do those little purple heads. Don't know if I want any other purple on these bikes. We have purple heads, but I think the undercarriagey bit, let's get something that we can point with. The undercarriagey bit here, this is difficult to do. There you go. Here, that's probably just got to be black, right? But then I also want these like extra thick poles to be black as well, so I don't know if that spoils the illusion. I don't know. And then maybe a little bit of silver on the back, keep it simple for the engines. And then so if that undercarriage bit is black, that will hopefully mean that the little chappies on the top pop properly. But then the weapons you can see from the front, so if they're black as well, that's good. Maybe a little bit of green for the screen, no, turquoise I mean. I used that as a kind of tertiary highlight, like not highlight colour, but like colour in the scheme. I don't know what those bits are supposed to be, but yeah, they've got that nice epic 40k chunkiness to them as well, which is fun. You don't see that nowadays. And is that the old? They still kind of pose like this, I suppose. I feel like or maybe it's the newer ones. I don't know. We'll see. Conversions are on Reddit on r/Eldar. Okay, get them in the Discord as well, Mr. Blister, because that is the place where the sharing happens. Sorry, I called you Mr. Blister. That's like a sort of catch-all pet name that I use with everyone, and I don't think I've used it on the channel yet. So yes. All right, I'm going to angle that away from my face, which means that it will be a little bit blown out on there, but we're doing the best we can with the setup we have. I just cleaned all these brushes, by the way. I'm not like weirdly just placing all my brushes out to show off. It's not even all of them, not even close, but we won't need all of these. We definitely won't need a big chunky one. Maybe we'll take try those two. I'll put these over here. All right, so let's do that black first, because it's something simple that I don't have to think about too hard. And we need black for that. Yeah, on the original models for the weapons, I actually used like a speed paint black, but Grave Lord Grey, I think it's called. But for those undercarriages, we're just going for a nice solid black. And then now these bases are 28mm, but they're only 1mm thick. I think they should be safe in here. Yeah, that's all right, isn't it? Yeah, just make it a little bit easier to hold in it. Just make it a bit easier to hold. That's not the brush I want. That's not the brush I want. Yeah. So yeah, the Eldar news a bit slow at the moment, unfortunately. which is a shame. We like it when we get lots of Eldar news, but that's all right. I'm sure. I think I've said this before, but there's no way on earth that they brought Jez Goodwin in from the cave that I think he goes to when he's not designing for GW. There's no way that they brought him in from his cave to do redesign, the Eldar, refresh the Eldar range, and then like just had him do like a couple of the aspects and then sent him home. All the bits and pieces that they did. They've definitely redesigned the whole thing. They're just drip feeding it to us like GW is wont to do. So it'll be coming. Maybe with, I don't know, with the rumoured 10th edition that's coming next year, that Valrak chappie seems very confident is coming, and I think even Auspex Tactics and all those guys, everyone is saying, yeah, it's on the way. So that'll be maybe a chance for that to happen. And what I've heard about 10th edition that's on the way is that it's a full reboot, which means everyone's going to get whatever they call it, the interim codexes that they get when they do a full reboot, where like, whoopsie, the rule system just doesn't work with the codexes at all. So can you see what I'm doing, by the way? Do you want to come a little bit closer? Because it's a little thing today. Saw some chats. Taking forever to load the Discord. Load onto the Discord. You mean upload, or that's weird? Yeah, I don't know. Is Discord maybe having a bit of a moment? That happens sometimes. I better get over its moment quickly if that's what's going on. Won't be best impressed. Because as I say, that's where the sharing happens. Your parcel gas arrived at my end, so I'll send it to you on Monday, buddy. Okay, my parcel gas has, alright. Yeah. Thank you very much, Dargo. I thought that you didn't, but I mean, that's, yeah, super, I mean, I don't even know what it is. You might be sending me something terrible and horrible, but I'm assuming it's a nice thing, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing what it is, Dargo. And super kind and generous of you to do that, whatever it may be. I am really looking forward to it. I thought you, but yeah, I assumed it was coming straight here because we exchanged the address, but I don't care. I'm just very happy to receive prezzies. That's very nice. Not buying any more unless they bring out new warp spiders. I know, right? New warp spiders. Who else is missing? We've got for Aspect Warriors. Oh, they don't need to do Dire Avengers. They're all right, but it would be good, I think, because they'll show their age pretty quickly. And we've got Banshees are new. Banshees look good. Banshees have been around for a bit. Who else is there? Oh, Scorpions! Come on, we need Scorpions. Man, do we need Scorpions. The little... I love, like, some of those old designs are just so unapologetically ripping things off. It's like, GW does Predator. This is something I did not think about. This is fiddly as foo. You know what? I was like so confident because this is such a simple paint job. I was so confident. I was like, I'm definitely actually going to finish something on this stream. In fact, I was even worried. I was like, oh no, I'm gonna run out of stuff to do on this. I mean, I'm not going to run out of stuff to do. I've got loads of half-finished models I can pull off the shelves. But I was like, yeah, am I going to have to like swap to some other project halfway through the stream because I'm going to run out of these little guys to paint? And now I'm doing this. I'm like, this is taking a long time, and it's the first base because it's fiddlier than I anticipated. All right. Love my hair. Thank you very much, Dicebot. You can't even see my hair. There you go. Here you go. What that is, it looks like I'm more, because of the light, it looks like I'm more balding than I am. That's unfortunate. What that was lockdown, actually. I was like, I'm not waiting anymore for a haircut, and I just shaved my head, because I used to shave my head when I was a kid anyway. I mean, yeah, I've shaved my head a few times. Yeah, it's stuck because it's easy, and I can do it myself, so I don't have to worry about timing or booking appointments or paying hairdressers to cut my hair. Just chop it off. So yes, I'm glad you like my hair. Thanks, Dice. And I'm also glad that you're called Dicebot on here, because I won't lie, mate, your name on Discord is ambiguous. the pronunciation, replacing the E with a 3 there, makes the pronunciation a little bit ambiguous. D. Right up my street. Well, I'm looking, yeah, as I say, I'm very much looking forward to it. Cinema Firsts didn't have your address at there. Oh, okay. Fair dues. Thank you. Well, anytime. I am easy peasy. As I say, it's more than I could possibly hope for, just getting anything. It's very nice. I know who you are, Dicebot. I know who you are. I recognised the name. Yeah. As I say, I don't necessarily always recognise all the names, but your one has stuck. It is in my brain. Paint in black things. Yeah, so what other aspects am I missing? There's the oft pined for slicing orbs. It's such a silly name if you think about it. Why would an orb slice? That's a ball. Balls don't slice. Exploding orbs, maybe. Slicing orbs, not so sure. Also sounds kind of more Drukhari to me. Like slicing things feels like a Drukhari thing. I don't know. Maybe we'll get them. I mean, it'd be cool to get a whole new aspect, wouldn't it? That would be fun. Yeah. So we've got Swooping Hawks need an update as well. They got those lovely rules. They gave like the rubbish rules to the Dark Reapers. Like they got the debuff. They got nerfed, but gave them lovely models. And then the Swooping Hawks didn't get any model love, but they got super juicy rules to play with. So very un-GW, or at least the sort of stereotypical GW that everyone talks about behaviour. What they say is that they buff the things that get new models to make sure everyone wants to buy them, which they certainly have done with those dwarves, haven't they? With those bloody dwarves, bloomin' heck! I'm not a very crunchy guy in Warhammer. Like I don't follow the meta, or I only occasionally watch bat reps and even less frequently play games myself. But my word, I did catch wind of some of those dwarf rules and watched a little bit of the Tabletop Titans released a Asuryani versus Leagues of Votan stream, which I didn't watch at the time but watched a little bit of afterwards, and man, they look nasty right now until they get nerfed to heckaroos. Yeah, which will of course most certainly happen. Speaking of presents, is Will still in here? You can't see it, Will, but look. Dee-dee. No, wrong one. There you go. Look in the little box in the corner, and if you look really, really closely, you'll see a very nice thing. Are you going to paint the new Emperor's Champion model for October? I'll pick him up, but won't be painting him for a while until I can get myself a shoddy airbrush for Christmas. Yeah, I don't know. It's a cool model, definitely a cool model. I'm waiting to get my Warhammer Plus subscription model, and I've got an idea. I mean, I want to paint him basically following the artwork that he's based on, which I'm sure is what everyone wants to do, but I want to do my take. And I think that will be a really fun one. So I've got that lined up. I've got actually loads of videos planned. I'll show you something quickly. I got these the other day. Where are they? So people liked the lighting video. I mean, people like the lighting video because they like that Horus paint job on that Horus model, I think. But I'm not sure if it was necessarily 100% the lighting. But I picked up a bunch of these guys from AOS. What are they called? Spooky spookyuks. That's what my mum calls ghosts because she's of Dutch extraction. I don't think spookjuk is a Dutch word, by the way, but it's a silly thing that my Dutch grandmother would say. Anyway, so spookjuks. Here, picked up a bunch of AOS spookjuks, and I need to do some gap filling on them apparently. These were from Troll Trader, which if you're in the UK, I highly recommend. If you want to buy models that you can just test things on, because you can buy them built, and sometimes build quality is not fantastic or whatever, but it just saves time, and you get them cheaper than you buy them on sprue from GW. Anyway, Night Haunts, that's the one. Thank you very much. It's just the purpose of chat is just to fill in the holes in my brain, apparently. Yeah, so we're going to do some lighting videos. I've got 10 of those, so I mean, I don't think I've got 10 videos of information on lighting in me, but I mean, it depends how deep you want to go. Lighting was my job for a long time. Maybe still is. I don't know. This feels increasingly like my job, in a good way. But yeah. Anyway, so I've got that to do. I've got the Warhammer Plus Chaos Space Marine chappie when he finally makes his debut. To me, some people have already got them. I'm really jealous. I got my Vindicare, who has gone to his forever home, so I can't show that to you, but there's a video on him. I got my Vindicare quite early compared to a lot of people, but I haven't got my Chaos Space Marine guy yet. I'm sure he's supposed to be available, but every time I check, I haven't checked in the past couple of days, so every time I check, it's not there. I may have something arriving tomorrow, if you know what I mean, from pre-orders last weekend. Not quite sure what I want to do with that yet. It's the Votan box. I bought a Votan box. I feel like if I run a YouTube channel about Warhammer, I should probably pick up the big important releases like a whole new faction. But I'll be real with you, my dudes. I like making all the kind of content I make. I wouldn't make videos I don't like making, but right now I'm not feeling the speed paint. I just finished a big speed paint project. I did. I got down to about 46 minutes per model. It's the continuation of the Horus Heresy box. There's the second half of that, and that'll be up sometime soon when I get a chance to edit the footage and everything. But yeah, when I was doing that, I was like, this is good, but we aren't learning anything new here. And I don't need another 30 odd Space Marines on my shelves. I don't collect Space Marines. They're fine, they're good models to paint, they teach you a lot about volume shading and all that kind of stuff because they're quite simple forms. But I think I'm done with speed painting at least Space Marines for a while. And I'd like to do a few more kind of videos focused on slightly more kind of slow painting, bit more, I don't want to say advanced techniques. It's all the same thing, right? The difference between speed painting and commission, display painting. That's what I'm looking for. It's just how much time you want to spend on it, right? But basically everything you're doing remains the same for me anyway. So yeah, anyway, but yeah, I would like to do some videos where I actually paint stuff to the best of my ability rather than the fastest that I can do it. And I do that, obviously, like Horus was that, and lots of my other videos of that, but I want to do more. So I don't quite know what to do with the Votan box. Part of me is like, got to get the videos out quick, because whilst it's still the hot topic. But at the same time, like, all the guys that get the boxes early have already released all their videos, so I'm not like, you know, I guess there isn't really a reason to rush. But I don't know. What am I talking about? I'm banging on about bloody dwarves and my own channel, which is not. See, I don't have Science Spy here to keep me on track. But yeah, let's see what chat's saying. If I entertained you with Warhammer Horror Story, yeah. I mean, don't spam the chat. But you can recommend Votan's scheme. I can't promise that I'll do it, but I'm certainly all ears. I'd love to hear it. And Mr. George is painting some Dire Avengers. Lovely. Hopefully, I'll go have a look in the chat now. Am I still on the second one? Am I still no, I'm not on the first one. Where's the one I painted already? Oh, it's there. Okay. Yes. Well, let me see if there's something in there to look at, shall I? And then we'll decide. No, you naughty people! Look, here is the thing. There's the link. Go there. Post some of your minis. I mean, in the Webway weekend. Cut up doors and base my. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah. So yeah, paint. I mean, I could just do the whole box, like, you know, because there's something in painting. Obviously, characters, everyone wants to spend time on, but there's something in painting, like whole units, like 10 guys or whatever, up to a very high standard. That is an interesting kind of meditation in the painting, you know, Warhammer painting world. Got to think about like what your tolerances are. My tolerances are pretty low for units, I'll be honest, but it would be a good exercise to do. The thing about selling it, Dargo, I am with you, and I would like to do that, but I've had some bad luck trying to sell stuff, like particularly recently. I think I had like. Well, basically, yeah. So that the Horus Heresy box was kind of supposed to be that. Buy it, paint it up, do a video. This is how I like to paint something like this, and then just, you know, sell the box, because I'm not very precious about the stuff. And, you know, if I could just make the money back on the box or whatever. Well, no. See, this is the problem. If I was just making money back on the box and I was selling it like some people do, you know, when they sell their secondhand armies, and it's like, you know, 50 quid for, you know, 30 models or whatever, then I probably could have sold it already. But I just feel like I spent time on that and money. I don't want to, you know, I don't. Yeah. Anyway, I think in the kind of selling painted model space, unless you're working on a commission that someone has asked you to do, you are up against. You know, what have you got? You've got people who are buying an army because they want to play it and they don't want to paint it, right? This is probably then a person who's not necessarily like looking for the difference between, you know, a nicely painted model and an okay painted model. That doesn't matter to them. That difference is not kind of registering with them. They just want something that looks good enough on the tabletop and that they can take to the tournament. And so if you are a commission painter like me, who is trying to like get actually like your labor's worth of money back on that, or something close, maybe, hopefully, preferably if you can, it's, yeah, you're kind of maybe selling into the wrong market a little bit. It's how I feel about it at the moment, but that might just be because I haven't had a lot of luck shifting those salamanders. But then it also might just be because I don't know how to use eBay, or I'm selling in the wrong place, or I'm not, you know, there might be other things that I'm not doing right. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, but anyway, I'll paint something out of the box, you know, even if it's, I bought it, right? I've got to paint something out of it. I kind of want the codex, which is weird because I don't picture myself collecting them, but I just kind of like, it's, I don't know, it feels like I don't think I'll sell the codex. It feels like a moment, you know? Like imagine in 30 years time when we're on the well, judging by GW standards, we're in the 500 millionth Votan codex, and people are sort of thinking back longingly to the days of 9th edition, and I've got my 9th edition Votan codex on the shelf. That'll be cool. The first Leagues of Votan codex. But yeah, paint the whole box, not sure yet. I'll decide when it gets here, and I'll decide after I've painted one. I'm thinking I'll do the character. I don't know if I'll do the named character or just do the generic character guy, because I don't know what scheme I want to paint. But which of the leagues I want to paint, or maybe even a custom league. But anyway, I'll paint that, and I'll go, and then that'll be my kind of, what do they call it, bellwether, my sort of do I like painting these guys? Is this fun? Is this something I want to focus on for a while, or intermittently at least for a while, and then we'll see. Can you post a link to that tutorial? I don't know what tutorial you mean, but yes, feel free to post a link to a tutorial if you so desire, sir. You mean which is it going to be? The Cult of Paint one, I wonder. I watched that the other day. That was good. Cult Paint, good painters, those guys. Good balance as well between speed painting. See, that's the thing, right? They've got a good balance between speed painting and taking your time, I think. I like that. It's not about getting it down to the most minimum time. I mean, sometimes it is, and I don't regret, don't get me wrong. I'm not like, oh, I've done it all wrong. I like my videos on speed painting, but yeah, just what I'm in the mood for. I mean, what I really want to paint is stuff like, who have we got? I don't have that. Oh, I mean, what I'm really in the mood for is doing something like that, I think, if I'm entirely honest with myself. He's been sat on my shelf for a while now, but I haven't done a larger scale thing in a minute. And I've also got this guy. We're getting all the behind the scenes stuff. Hang on. I've got this guy from my second favorite game series, if I'm honest. I got him a while ago, and he was quite expensive actually, because it was a custom print from the thing. I really need to paint him up. But that's Link from Zelda, if you don't know who that is. Yeah, it'd be quite interesting to do this, because he's kind of, I mean, effectively he's an anime figure, which I don't paint. I've never painted an anime figurine, but it'll be interesting because I don't paint anime figurines, as I say, but he is kind of an anime figurine. So I've watched some videos and stuff. Those guys have got some interesting techniques. But so I don't know, should I just go take a sort of Western mini painter approach on him, or try and lean into the anime figure painter? I'm not sure. But yeah, he's been sat on my shelf for ages now. He needs to be painted too. I've got loads of stuff that I want to paint in a big list on a board on the internet that I look at and go, oh, what shall I do for next week's video? Or we're ahead of schedule at the moment, actually. I'm quite proud of that. But anyway, yes, so I think do the character slowly. Custom could definitely be fun. Build 10 little guard defenders, let alone paint them. So good luck with that, man. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I did. Yeah, if you want to do them fast, I mean, even Guardian Defenders, you can leave the heads off. I'm not into what you call it, sub-assemblies, but there are some things where it's just nah. If you're speed painting Eldar, and 90% of Eldar, the whole thing is the helmet is a different color to the body, leave the heads off. We're looking a bit slow in the Webway weekend Discord chat, guys. I'm not lying to you. And when I say slow, I mean no one's posting anything. So get in there, post your minis. I want to see what you're working on. Darn it. Darn garnet. Barn Sharnet. Right, next little chappy chaps. Next base. Yeah, custom. Well, so the thing about with the custom, I agree, Dargo, that would be a fun little project, and that might be a fun thing to talk about as well on the channel and what have you, is working out your own color scheme, you know, because I think that some people find that quite tough, and I've got ideas about making it easy. Yeah, sorry, George, I just saw your message pop up about wishing you'd left the heads off. A number of times I've done that. When you build, I mean, I find when I'm building, I'm like, oh no, just sod it, come on, let's go. I hate having little bits lying around all over my desk, and I hate, you know, as I say, I really don't like doing sub-assemblies if I can avoid it. And then I get to painting and I'm like, oh, I've got to rebase the heads, and I can't just use the zenithal highlight that I've done, and oh, I really wish I left the heads off. So yeah, I feel you. But yeah, so the other thing with the Leagues of Votan is I've talked so many times on the channel, kind of like in passing, about using artwork as a reference to make yourself a better painter. And I thought it would be nice to do a sort of in-depth video on that. Marco Frissoni just did a video actually on using artwork as well. Although his was just kind of like focused on where you can find the pictures. It was good actually, because I don't have any physical media, and he is right. He says that, you know, like physical media is way better reference than internet pictures, because you can get up close with your eyeballs and you can see the brush strokes if it's a proper art book or whatever. Normally they normally display the pictures big enough that you can see that, which is a genuine help. But yeah, just like trying to recreate a piece of artwork from the book, which then obviously would not be a custom league. It would be one from the book. But then, you know, I'm getting a whole bloody box, and like I say, I'm not necessarily particularly interested in collecting them, so it's not like I have to do the whole box the same colour scheme. So, could do all of them. Could do all of the above. And wouldn't that be fun too? So yeah, the options are endless. And as I say, I mean, like, Leagues of Votan might be different. I mean, I think maybe part of the reason the Salamanders didn't sell is because people maybe just don't play Salamanders in Horus Heresy, or I don't know, you know, that could be a thing. But Leagues of Votan will be popular for a little while now, won't they? So maybe if I do paint them all up, they would sell. Oh, I don't know. See, these are the many trials and tribulations you go through if you're a YouTube video maker and Warhammer commission painter. Oh, it's a hard life. Tell you what, painting toys. Oof. In the painting mines every day. Speaking of which, why am I using this tiny little brush? What am I doing? Wasting my time, your time, all the time. Bloop. Blip, 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 blip. Especially when using airbrush base colors. Yeah, it does generally make things easier if you leave the heads off, if you're painting, you know, like obviously Space Marines tend to be monotone, mono-hue. Although that's something, I mean, I might mention that in the video actually. I kind of wish with my Horus Heresy guys that I'd left the pauldron. I did the, like, so with the Salamanders, they're green and black, right, with flames sometimes or frequently, but that wasn't so bad. I did the pauldron with the studs as the secondary color, so black with the Salamanders, but the ones I did recently, it was colors that you can't, like black you can just paint over, it's not so bad. But the ones I did recently, am I keeping it a secret? It's not really a secret. Night Lords is blue and red, right? And red doesn't want to cover over blue so easily, so I kind of wish I'd left the pauldrons off of those. The Studley pauldron, those nightmare pauldrons, I talked about that last time. I'm not going to talk about it again. Not a fun build process on those, I tell you. Slop. Look at the little bikes. Pew, pew, pew. We're almost halfway there. I think we are halfway there for models. Hello, quarter. Ah, it's Fredudu. Hello, Mr. Fredudu. How are you? I do like your name. I like saying your name. Fredudu. Fredudu. It's probably, I don't know, how do you say it in I get confused about where in the world you are, Fredudu. I know you speak French. You were posting about Switzerland the other day, which there are French-speaking people in that part of the world. But then I don't know why in my head I thought you were in Denmark at some point. Like, living in Denmark? Am I getting you mixed up with someone? I don't know. Maybe you just move around a lot. Anyway, the reason I was saying that is because I might be saying your name completely wrong and enjoying it. So apologies if I'm doing that. But it wouldn't be that different in French, right? Maybe stress somewhere else, but... What are we doing? We are painting tiny elves with friends on the internet. What are you working on, Mr. Fredudu? Have you got any projects on tonight? Oh my lord, making a pig's ear of that. Never mind. It's all good, it's all good. And that last bit there. Fine, thanks for being simple, French born in Germany, living in Switzerland. Well, yeah, I mean, that's it's not that simple. There are certainly simpler options, but that kind of makes sense as well, I guess. You know, like Switzerland would be the place to go if you were German-born French person. Seems like a good middle ground. How about South African-born Dutch person lives in the UK? That's a little more. Well, no, it's not actually. It's about the same level of complexity. That's me, by the way. Sorry, that's probably not clear, unless you know me already. Yes, but I don't speak any Dutch, and I don't think any Dutch person will ever let me speak any Dutch, because I've heard that if you try and speak Dutch to a native Dutch speaker, they're just like, you are a non-native speaker, we are going to now speak English. So I've heard, but then, you know, I'd have to make an effort into learning Dutch as well, so, which is not something I have done to date, and maybe something I never do, unfortunately. I don't know. Maybe one day. All right. Well, that was very un-Warhammer related. I'm still base coating black though, so can't say I've got anything interesting to report on that front. Shwump. Simple as me, but with some South Hemisphere. Yeah, right, yeah. Get a little bit of the Southern Hemisphere in there. Speaking of which, that's another person. Speaking of Southern Hemispheres, we don't get to see Kay Brunet today. She won't make it. I think Akaimi said she was coming. I don't know. But yes, we miss our science pie. Oh, we do. Oh, we do. Have you were in the process of moving, weren't you, Dargo? Has that happened? You still in the process? We went today to go look at the flat that we are trying our very best to buy, if the bloody solicitor would just finish the paperwork. Sorry, if there's any solicitors present, I'm sure your job is very difficult and time consuming, and there's a reason why everything takes as long as it does, but my lord, oh lordy lord, does it feel like things take a very, very long time. Weeks and weeks and weeks. Come on. I want to be in there before winter. That'll be very exciting. Again, we always do behind the scenes. Still looking. Oh, okay. Right. Yeah, you've got a ways to go then, haven't you? Yeah, we get very behind the scenes on these live streams, but one of the reasons I'm really eager to move is because my hobby space is going to expand considerably. We're going to have loads more space. I'm actually going to have like space to, I mean, I'm saying all this, oh god, if something falls through at this point now, we are going to be, so I mean, financially gutted because we've already spent a lot. You know, it's expensive to move, hiring solicitors and all that kind of stuff, aforementioned solicitors, but also just gutted because it's a nice apartment. But anyway, assuming it all goes ahead as planned, I'll actually have like space to have my computer not right in front of the place where I paint, which will be nice, and probably better for my computer. And space to, what else? I mean, all sorts. Have a proper extractor for my airbrush setup, so that I'm not covering the room in a fine mist of black primer every time I get new models, which is not fun to clean if you've ever had to do that. I just realised these guys are different. There's one set, can you see that? There's one set of guys, he's got a little let's grab this brush. This chappy here, it's got a little weird like visory thing on, and his weapon is different. Would have been good to notice that when I was sticking them to the base, wouldn't it? Doesn't matter. These are for, there you go, there's something. These are for Bellum Calum, which is the fan game that I'm working on at the moment. I haven't had a chance to work on it this week, unfortunately, because of the Night Lords. But yeah. So in Bellum Calum at the moment, the way it runs is one, like all the models on one base have the same weapons. And I don't think that's going to change, because I think for an epic scale game, you do not want to mess with different kinds of, like, one different kind of weapon on the base and in the unit. I don't know, maybe other people will say differently. It's going to be a fan game, so it will evolve according to what people want, hopefully. Yeah, so it doesn't matter that this guy is in amongst his friends here, for my purposes. But I suppose it would be good. It will be nice to have an epic Eldar army as well when I'm done with all this. What are effectively proxies for my fan game. If you're into the idea of a War in Heaven era fan game, go check out the Bellum Calum thing in the doohickey. Yeah, so it's going well. It's it's weird because we're still in the stage where because it's very early days, there's no one playing it but me and my mate Chris when I can get him to come round for a game, as far as I'm aware. And so you don't. The core rules are quite a different system. How deep do you want to go? Because I can talk about this a lot. I quite like rules. I don't like learning other people's rules, but I quite like coming up with rule systems myself. It tickles the programmer part of my brain quite nicely. But yeah, so we're still at the stage now where the fundamental concept of the game isn't really proved as functional. I think it is functional. I think with the right kinds of tweaks it will be functional. So that is, in Bellum Calum, the main sort of one of the big differences between it and for example a game like 40k is its alternating activation. So you just do one, you do everything for one unit at a time. So you lay out your orders at the beginning of the round, both in secret for all of their units, and then you go, it's a bit more complicated than this obviously, but you go, okay, that unit's going to activate, and then you turn over the orders and you do the thing. Okay, so that's one thing that's different. And the other thing is the main dice rolling mechanic, let's say, is if I shoot you, my weapon has an attacks characteristic, right? And that's like 5 dice. In something like Warhammer, you have a series of diminishing gates, right? So you roll to hit and say it's a 4-up, so on average you're going to get 2 or 3 through. So you get 3 through, and then you roll to wound. Let's just say it's another 4-up roll, so then you get 1 or 2 go through that gate, because 4 is going to be 50%, right? Let's be generous and say 2 go through, and then you roll to save. So you've got these 3 gates that you pass through. Then that's how you kind of whittle down, and then you can use different statistics to give them different feelings. But actually, I'll tell you this, something that maybe a lot of Warhammer players don't realize, it's the same thing. You could roll those dice in any order if you keep all of the numbers the same, because the way statistics work, statistically it's the same thing to roll like 5 3-ups and then the remaining the remaining as 4-ups and the remaining as 5-ups, as it would be to roll 5-5-ups and then the 3-ups and then the 4. It's all the same thing. It's all just compounding probability. Anyway, that's how Warhammer works. How Bellum Calum works is hopefully a little bit snappier. That's what I'm going for. You have your 5 attacks, and then the unit that you're attacking has shield saves, and that's also a fixed number. So they might have 4 shield saves, or 5 shield saves, or 7 shield saves, or whatever. And they're trying to beat the strength of your weapon. You're trying to beat your shooting ability. You roll the dice. Successful shield saves cancel out successful attacks, right? So if I roll my dice and I get 3 shield saves, and you roll successful shield saves, and you roll your dice and you get 4 successful hits, my 3 cancel out those and 1 goes through, and then you just work out wounds at the end of the rounds. But that's so there's one other gate. There's 2 gates rather than 3, I suppose. But anyway, that's how it works. I think in theory it's quite nice. I like it because it means that you can roll, like both parties are rolling all the time. It's very, very action packed, right? Because you can roll your hits and your saves at the same time. You don't have to wait to get the successful saves and then fish them out and then all the rest of it. So it should be quite a lively game when it's up and running properly. But it's a very, very, very different statistical proposition for a game, because if you've got 4-up, if the thing you're trying to beat with your 4-up shield save is if what you're trying to beat with your shield save is 4-ups, and what the person who's trying to shooting you with is also 4-ups, and you both have 5 dice to roll, 5 attacks, 5 shield saves, then statistically you will cancel each other out all the time, right? So balancing the data sheets is very, very different to Warhammer or other games that I've played, and it's taking me a lot of thinking to get it so that there's 2 major things I think you want to. We're really going deep dive on game design here, guys. Sorry. I'm sorry if this is boring. It's interesting to me. So I think that there's 2 fundamental things that you want. That's 4, 2. No, 2. No, 4, 2. I think there is 2 major things that you're going for with a sci-fi game, rolling the dice. What was I going to say? All right, so you need one, you just need tiers of power, right? So you need units to be able to be better than other units, right? But the other thing you need is a distinction between lots of shots at low damage and few shots at high damage. And you need a way to make the few shots at high damage basically be tank busters, and the lots of shots at low damage be infantry busters. I think that's like a pretty, it's fluffy. It kind of works with how it works in real life. Like if you want to take out 10 guys, you don't want a sniper, you want like a flamer or whatever. You don't want like a cannon ball, right, to do that. Kind of does sort of work, but not really. You want like a hail of arrows or a machine gun shot or something like that, right? And 40k, that's something that 40k does quite well. The system that they've worked out for like strength versus toughness and all that jazz that they do, kind of works. But Bellum Calum's quite different. And I think I'm finally this rule system that I've thought up myself. I think I'm finally starting to understand it, like how it works and how many shielding saves you need to make a vehicle tanky but not impossible to kill, and how you make that vehicle withstand shots from 10 infantry guys better than it does 1 shot from another tank. All those kinds of things. It's not reflected in the latest rule set that I've posted to the Bellum Calum channel on the Discord, but it is in process. I made a spreadsheet. I made a complicated spreadsheet and then played with the numbers, and I was like, okay, now I'm seeing how this works. Anyway, so there you go. In the mind of game design. I hope that wasn't terribly boring. The other thing that I'm really missing is a chance to. I feel like I have to get the rules functioning so that I know that it's feasible. But what I really want to do is write some lore and write some like write the data sheets in like a fluffy sense. Like I want to think about what ancient Eldar warriors would be like. I already have like some strong opinions on that. I think that what's his name? The guy who does the really good but very long lore videos, Luetin? Yeah, let's go with that. He had a thing, it was actually in his Dark Eldar video, but talked about how probably the reason the Eldar can't dominate is not necessarily because of, in the 40k universe, it's not necessarily because of lack of numbers, because their technology is supposed to be like extremely superior, or at least their like understanding is supposed to be extremely superior, but they were before the fall completely reliant on the warp, right? That's where all of their power came from, and all of their technology basically came from the warp. And the little tiny bits of information that you have about pre-fall Eldar in the kind of attested lore of 40k points to the fact that all of their technology relied almost 100% on the warp. And of course, in the process of the fall, they effectively lost at least easy access to the warp. So it would kind of be like if Western Europe suddenly stopped getting gas or something like that, right? Oh gosh, you've got a crisis on your hands, but much, much worse, because now you can't use any of your technology. So the Eldar in that sense are kind of in the same place as the Imperium from a different angle. The Imperium kind of has kind of tied its own legs as far as technological advancement is concerned. The Eldar tied their own legs as well by precipitating the fall, but if it weren't for Slaanesh and Chaos and all the rest of it, the Eldar would just go back to using all of their warp-powered shenanigans technology, but they can't. Anyway, but we're dealing with the time before when the warp wasn't a big scary place and Slaanesh didn't exist. So I think that the Eldar of Bellum Calum should just be like every single one of them is a magician. No, all of their stuff is really fundamentally based on the warp. So my idea is like the guns at first, and it's still in there actually. Like I was trying to make like shuriken kind of esque sounding names for things, and the lore was going to be like kind of shuriken esque. For their basic weapon and stuff. But then I thought about it and I was like, well, hang on, no. Why would they not just like have a gun that shoots compressed psychic energy from the shooter? Because they don't have to worry, no one has to wear big, warp veins on their helmets and all that kind of stuff, because you don't have to worry about Slaanesh. You don't have to worry about keeping the demons at bay. So that is the approach we're going to go. And then when we finally get onto Titans, which is the really exciting thing that I've started working on, but I haven't released anything for yet. So that's, you're playing an epic scale game. You want big, chunky, epic style Titan models to play with. So the other thing about the pre-fall Eldar is that one of the things that made them so strong is that effectively they were taking gods to war. So the Necrons had the Catan, which are effectively sun-eating godlike creatures, and the old ones gave the Eldar the power to manifest things from the warp. So this is the theory that I'm ascribing to anyway. Obviously this isn't set lore, but this is what I'm going with. This is another thing that Luetin and others have talked about, like the pre-fall Eldar, what were they like? So the idea is that those like Cain and Isha and Vol and all those Eldar gods were actually literal beings that were kind of a representation of their technologies, or I mean, like I say, I don't think that there's a distinction in ancient Eldar between technology and what we would call magic, right? The warp. So So when you get your chunky avatar, when you get your chunky titans for the Eldar, they will be gods. They'll be like, you won't necessarily get Cain. I've got to work out a sort of nice lore way of like, you don't get the whole of Cain. I think that would be OP. You don't get like the literal unsplit war god, but you get like, you know, like demigods or whatever, something. I've got to go back and maybe look at some inspiration from Buddhism's probably got some good stuff. They've got a weird relationship with, like, Tibetan Buddhism's got all sorts of weird stuff where it's not actually a god per se, but it's, yeah, and Hinduism generally as well. It's got lots of like avatars and that kind of thing. So anyway, so that'll be how that all works. Why were we talking about that? Well, that's what I want to do. I want to get this rule system rather definitely functional, so that I can finally get onto the juicy bit of designing these races, these pre-fall, or these War in Heaven era races. Yes, yeah. So I mean, yeah, I like avatars, but different. I don't know. Yeah, avatars of the gods. And there's a thing in a lot of like polytheistic religions where it's like, well, this kind of like lesser god, you know, like often it happened with like Roman gods when they were interacting, let's say, with the Celtic gods when the Romans were conquering Celtic Europe, and so they would make the local gods either just like a version of the god, or they would make it like a representation of a portion of one of their gods or something like that. That's quite common in polytheistic religions. So you could have like Cain, you know, I don't know, Cain ascended, you know, which is this kind of Titan model, and then you could have like Kuranos as the bow bearer. I can't think of anything good off the top of my head, but that kind of stuff, you know. So you get all of the gods, or aspects of the gods, and that's what you play with when you are playing the Eldar. And I think that could be fun and cool and interesting to try and work out. I'd love an artist to be on board with this, because I've got ideas about that as well, about what they should look like, but that's down the way somewhere, I suppose. Good evening, Justin Powell. How are you? Nice of you to join us. Yeah, so yeah, exactly. Yeah, Egyptian. I mean, like, but all of these old polytheistic religions have loads of. I want to go. I don't know. Well, we'll see. I've got to mythology-wise. Obviously, I've just got to go with what's there and then build from that. And I mean, the Egyptians are quite a good example, actually, Dargo, because ancient Egypt was around for so long that the religion that they were practicing at the end of it was, you know, very different proposition to the religion they were practicing at the start of it. Hinduism as well, I suppose, but I don't know a lot about historical Hinduism. I mean, I don't know much about Egyptian either, but I do know that it changed a lot over the course of the 3,000 years that they were occupying that part of the world. But anyway, it's cool, isn't it? It's gonna be fun, I think. And you know, I hope people get on board and want to join in and what have you. But I'm having a good time by myself anyway. Hey, we've got some posts. Let's have a look-see. I need to do my thingy here. And a whoopsie. Mr. Dargo is not working on anything right now, but was working on bases for Raven Guard. Very nice. Bit of pigment powder action. Lovely. I don't know, not sold on them yet. Need to be played with. No, they're nice. It's a very nice, like, natural tonal variation that you've got with the thing. I mean, I don't know. You could, I suppose, a bit more contrast difference. So, like, you know, something as simple as a dry brush or something, maybe to pop, as they say. So, someone in a comment recently said, like, why do mini painters always say pop? I've never heard that in the fine arts world. I mean, I don't know. It's just what we say, mate. There, cool. How did you? So it looks to me like you dumped a bunch of pigment powder on there and then smooshed it around. Did you fix it, or are you going with the I'm not going to touch it anyway, so who cares approach of pigment powdering? I'd be curious. It looks fixed to me. It looks like you've dropped on some kind of, I don't know, what do people use frequently? People use IPA, right? And even and I've heard mineral spirits. People use mineral spirits. I've heard people using airbrush thinner. There's all sorts of like that's actually something that maybe I don't frequently do like technical videos like let's test this technique, but that might be something I'd be interested about. Although what's a face did one as well, didn't he? Midwinter did a video about fixing. He ended up hairspray, I think he was saying is the one that he liked. But anyway, what did you use to fix that? I'd be curious to know. There's all sorts of like, why can I not exit? There we go. Things that people talk about fixing their stuff with. Mr. Will Miller is painting a little aardvark. Not aardvark? Is that the right? No, not aardvark. Armadillo. There you go. That is adorable. He's a little bubble of adore. I love that. Yeah, lovely. I like your palette. I like what's going on there. But yeah, I love magenta and burgundy, so of course I'm going to love it. That's a really nice green as well. Yes, looking forward to seeing him evolve. Is that the Limitless? Oh yeah, no, your green. That's the green you get from black. Nice. Yes. Now I thought I was like, is that the Limitless palette? But then I didn't want to say anything because I was like, but he's got green on there. Why has he got green on there? But that's the green. That's your green from yellow and black. That's ace, man. Yeah. Keep it coming. Mr. Doodoo is doing a little action on some orky ears. Lovely. We do like a good orc. What did we say there? Oh, with a nice voice in the ears. Sorry. I thought you were saying that you were like working on his ears because I can see that you've like pinked up the corners there. No. Pay attention, Craig. Pay attention. You know what I really need to do is finish that orc guy as well, actually. Love it. Keep the pictures coming, my dudes. If you're working on something, let's see what you're working on. Oh, Mr. James. Is it a pangolin? Oh, I'm sorry, James. You've been in the chat for 2 minutes and you're correcting me, eh? Everyone say hi to James. James is the reason we're all here. James is my hobby buddy that got me back into the hobby. All right, let's catch up with what we're saying. Justin said hi. Egyptian gods. Evening, yes. Airbrushing, good. Get the airbrush out. Get some stuff painted. Right, yes. Used thinner to fix them. Yeah, fair enough. Yep. They say pop in the graphic design world too. I bet they do. It's like a joke that clients always say, "Can you make it pop if they don't like something?" Yes, indeed. Pop. Yeah, I thought so. I mean, like, I also thought about that. Like, I'm sure people in the fine arts world use pop as well. But the this is what I said when I replied to the comment. In fine arts, like, there's quite a broad spectrum of. I mean, it's as broad as there are artists of what you're trying to achieve. Right? You might want to make someone think that it's pretty and delicate, or you might want it to look violent or whatever. You know, it's fine art, so it's whatever the artist wants it to do. With typical tabletop standard mini painting, you want your miniatures to look good and vibrant, or at least like to pop on the table when you put them down. You want to see them and feel like it's, you know, powerful. So we say pop. It's just a good thing. James pop in terms of popping off the page. Yeah. Hello, James. Thank you for being the reason Craig's presence online. Yes. Staying out from the crowd. Yes, indeed. No worries at all. It was nothing before I met you. He made me the man I am today. Which is why. What? I don't know. I don't know where to go with that. All right. Well, we've done some sloppy black painting on these little chappies. Filling in the bottom there. If you're curious, I think it's pretty obvious by now, and if you've watched my channel, you know already. But it is, it's just sprayed pink. Not that pink. Not that one either. Don't know where the pink is. Can't see it. Gonna give up. 3, 2, 1. There it is. Hey. No, it's not. That's still not it. No. Anyway, spray it pink, and then white over the top of that, and then yellow ink over the top of that, and then you get nice orange, rich looking shadows and vibrant poppy highlights. Lovely. Underpainting 101. That's the underpainting that everyone knows, I think. So the next thing on these guys, I think, is to mix up some spontaneous contrast style paint. Oh, did I? No, I used this purple, didn't I? It was dioxazine purple that I used. That's right. And then we will. Yeah, thinner. There you go. So I guess you mean like airbrush thinner, right? Yeah. Seems to be the. I mean, at the end of the day, those pigment powders are just the pigments that you would find in paint, right? So you can fix them with. I've done that. You can fix them with water. I think. What's the face who does the Vince? I always get his name wrong. Vincey V. Vince Ventruella, right? He. I think he talked about it. You can do really good rust effects. With just water and pigment. That looks ace. I've done that before. I don't know if I prefer that or the oil one. The oil one is really easy as well. I suppose different like oil's good for rust streaks, you know. But there we go. I've got it open. The water and pigments is great for like the way Ventura. There's an L in there somewhere. I swear on my life there's an L in that man's name, in his family name. I'm sure there is. It's not Ventura, is it? I'm sure there's an L. Anyway, someone go find that out. I'll get my people on it. Yeah, when you get pools of rust around something, it looks really good. All right, this is matte medium and dioxazine purple, if you're curious. It doesn't quite work like a contrast paint because it doesn't have any, what's the word? Surface. Oh no, I like words. Apparently I don't know them. Surfactant. There you go. I suppose I could drop in like something to try and get. That's not dark enough. But it's got like it pools fairly well, and it's got a pretty convincing consistency. Not staining very well. Not made it strong enough. So yeah, poor man's. I don't know if I would do this for like a big thing. Like, you know, I wouldn't use this like to paint the whole body of an orc or something like that. This kind of off the cusp homebrew contrast paint. But for this like little, doing these head details and wanting to at least maintain a little bit of shading information from the preliminary lighting and get my recesses shaded all in one simple step, it does the job. It's fine. And these guys, you know, they're for playtesting. They're not for winning awards. They are for having fun. So if they're a little bit rough around the edges, I'm not going to feel too bad. Painting little elves. All right. So, Mr. James, what are you working on? Are you getting hobby time? You've had a hobby day. I was literally telling people about your orc game a little earlier, but I hope the hobby love is not over. I hope you've had a beautiful Friday of perfect hobby greatness. And to discontinue. Look, it's going on with that. This guy's got a Mohican. Oh my lord, I did not look at these models until right now. Has he got a Mohican? What's going on there? Can you see this? What is going on with this man's head? Where is he? Oh, it's even harder to tell now because I've put a big splodge of purple paint across the top, but he's definitely, and it's so small I can't get it in focus. He's definitely got something going on top of his head compared to the look. That's a regular helmet. Out of focus there. Autofocus not in light. My setup, I hate it. That sort of there. Right, yeah, that's what a regular head looks like. This guy's got something going on top of it. I think he's got a Mohican on. Blood Angels Termies, very nice, very nice. You're doing. Did you? I can't remember. Did you decide to go the full hog and grimdarkify your whole lot of them? I know that you were talking about that. Yeah, the Chimera colours are lovely, Will. Great opacity, single pigment paints. If you've just bought the original set, I know that some of their latest ones are not that. Really super duper matte finish, which is great if you are an experienced competition level painter, but is a bit intimidating otherwise. Even I, like the hell am I find them intimidating to use because of how matte they are. When a paint is matte, you are completely responsible for how it appears. There's nowhere to hide. There's no shiny finish to hide behind. But they are lovely. Really, the red in that is my favourite red, hands down. They call it the red, and it's worthy of the name because it's lovely. What time are we on, by the way? Let me check. 9:30. Oh, we've only got. So I meant to. I always forget to mention this. The stream goes to 10:30-ish. We used to go to 11, but my brain melted when we went to 11, and by the end of the stream I was blabbering like a fool, he says, as if he's not blabbering like a fool right now. And I think people didn't really want to stay up till 11, and I can't blame them. So we go to 10:30 or thereabouts. I mean, maybe a little bit later if people desperately want to hear me blathering about rubbish, but very likely to be done at 10:30. So we've got about an hour. If you are working on something and you would like to share it with the group, post it to the thing. I should put it back in here now. There is the link for the Discord server. You can go in there and you can post your mini in the Webway weekend thing. We do accept non-elven submissions, because why not? There's only so many elves in the world, I suppose. But yeah, go in there, share what you're working on. We're a supportive lot. All we ever say is that is excellent, because frankly, it always is. And if you want feedback, obviously say that too. If you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, someone tell me what I should do about this. We're all up for that as well, aren't we? Constructive and kind feedback, always nice. Not repainted anything yet. Have you got other pro acrylic paints people were raving a few months ago back? No, I've got one. Because where is he? Is it that one? Oh my lord, look at that. I've got this because, as you can probably see from the packaging, Element Games sent it to me for free. And I haven't used it yet, as you can see from how horrendously split it is. And also the label is coming off now because they stuck their own label over the Pro Acryl one. So I don't even know, do I get to know what you are called in the Pro Acryl range? Or did you not think that through? Or you didn't think that was important information for me? Can I take your label off? Ooh, yuck. Oh no. Oh, I don't like any of it. Dargo, you've got the full range. You just said that. What colour's that? Tell me what Pro Acryl colour I have. I wonder if I've... should we see? Okay, right. A little bit of live experimentation. It was going to be turquoise, but we'll go with sky blue. Let's call that sky blue. I'm just going to get rid of that label now, and then Dargo's going to tell me what colour that is in the Pro Acryl range. I mean, it's edging into the turquoise part of it, hue-wise, I suppose. It's a little bit, but it's not. But anyway. Oh, Oh lord. Oh no. It's a messy one. It's a messy opener. That seal tab. Yeah, this is genuinely, I haven't touched this paint. White. Oh no! Yeah, that's happened to me, George, with the... oh, that's very liquidy. I wasn't expecting that. That's... I do that. So I lived in Japan for 10 years, as people like regulars know, and speak Japanese and what have you. But some of the Japanese, like, they call them paralingual sounds, not the Japanese, I mean linguists. So the sounds you make that aren't words but have but carry meaning, like oops or ah or something like that, right? Some of them have stuck. Some of the Japanese ones, and is one of them. It's like the sound of like, what's this? It's the sound of like, oh, this is interesting. Yeah, it's just kind of like, oh, it's kind of like that sound, but in Japanese it's and for some reason that's stuck with me. And that's what I say now when something is interesting. You can also use it sort of semi-sarcastically as well in Japanese, which is good. You can go, when something isn't interesting at all. Which I quite like. Oh, that's good coverage. Are you getting this? My very first pro acryl experience. It's nice and liquidy. Which is, well, I mean, that can be a boon and that can be a curse, depending on the, situation, obviously. But I'm enjoying it. Maybe, is he supposed to, I don't know what this guy's supposed to be. I don't know why he's got a funny crest on his head. I mean, honestly, with models this size, this could be a piece of flash that I'm misinterpreting as a detail. But it's a Mohican now. We're turning it into a Mohican. Mohican, yeah, like one of the is that right? Oh, sorry. It's very difficult to distinguish the detail. One of the troopy type guys, is that him there? Yeah, there you go. Look, he had a little Mohican. Can you see that? So this is very different to that, but I'm going to say that it's also a Mohican, and this person likes to give their elves Mohican. It's blue. Thank you, Dargo. That's what I needed to know. This is blue. I'm assuming that is that just what it's called then? They call this blue in the Pro Acryl range. It's blue. Well, yes, it's true. It is. I guess that's also the name, or you're a comic genius, or we crossed wires, but. Yes, it's quite a light. If they're calling this just blue as opposed to like light blue or sky blue or whatever, it's a very light blue to call, just to be the one that you go with blue as the name. It's interesting. But yeah, I'm impressed. It's great coverage, except for that little freaking bit there for some reason. There we go. Yeah, I've convinced myself that this is a piece of flash that I'm painting. That's definitely just a bit of flash. Oh well, now it's a cool mohawk. There you go. And frankly, at 6mm, who is ever gonna know? No one. So this elf has got a cool little mohawk. My very first pro acryl experience, and that wasn't a bad one. I enjoyed that. So yeah, I suppose I'm gonna have to buy more paints. I've got too many paints. I mean, you can't have too many paints, but you know what I mean. I don't have enough space for all the paints I have. There you go. Let alone the ones I want. That's what I mean. And I think also if I came home with another pounds worth of paints, my husband might explode. No, he's very supportive, but I should probably use the things that I have, shouldn't I? Until I'm a millionaire and I don't have to worry about that sort of thing, and then I'll buy all the paints I like. yeah, that was a good painting experience. It's interesting that I'd be interested to see how they mix. I suppose I just happen to have picked one that is quite light, so I'm assuming that's got a lot of white in it, which means it's going to mix a bit funny. I don't know what the rest of their range is like in terms of pigment, like count, if you like. I don't know what the term for that is. How many pigments are in the one paint? We are a fan of minimal pigment count in paints here at GRG Miniatures. Because it means that you can more predictably mix your paints and you don't just immediately hit mud every time you put two different paints together. But yeah, definitely one that I'd be interested in exploring a bit more, because that consistency looks like it's quite interesting for certain applications. I can't get under his visor there. Oops. Where are you, sir? Can I get to you? Yes, there we go. Top knot's not a bloody top knot. It's never a top knot. There's no such thing as top knots in Bellum Calum. There you go. New rule, no top knots. Oh no, the avatar of Kane's got a top knot, so I'm assuming Kane had a top knot. I suppose we're going to have top knots. What did I see? I saw some like in-world... I saw one in-world explanation for a top knot the other day, which is that, I don't know where it was, but the... what are they called? Sons of Horus. Have top knots, frequently wore top knots because... Is he from Colchis, is that right? Horus? Because on Colchis, the gangers, the I don't want to say gangbangers, the people who were members of gangs frequently sported top knots, I think. Is that what I heard? But that doesn't explain why everyone forever and always in the universe of Warhammer 40,000 has top knots. Why do the Eldar and the Orcs and the bloody Tau, or I mean something like a top knot, why do they all have top knots when it's a very impractical and stupid looking hairdo? You know why? Because Warhammer 40,000 was invented in the 80s and everyone was taking a lot of time to think about what interesting haircuts they could give their characters. So yes, so what's that? I attempted to get that. These latest minis where he uses ink metallics. Yeah, they did look good actually. Yeah, I mean, it's funny, isn't it? I've got loads of inks, but I just never bothered getting the metallics. Generally, have been a bit of a hole in my paint collection, because I kind of got I got rubbish ones. Sorry, Vallejo, but I don't like your game color metallics. Got rubbish ones from Vallejo and was always annoyed with them. And then what else? And then I went straight to for the good Vallejo metallics, which are the airbrush, the metal color series, and they're really, really nice. They've got fantastic coverage. They can be they take a little bit of getting used to because they're made for an airbrush, so they're very liquidy, obviously. But yeah, and so then I was just like shading over the top of that. I've got like 4 of them. I've got copper, gold, and then 2 different kinds of silver. 3 different kinds of silver. 3 different kinds of silver. And I was kind of I was happy with that. But I grew kind of a little bit frustrated with that liquidy consistency, which can be a bit annoying sometimes when you're trying to just dot a little final detail or whatever, and you forget to wick off the extra moisture, and then you flood something, and it's all very annoying. So I went out and I bought these bad boys, and I bought one set. I didn't go out and buy all sets at once. I was showed a little bit of self-control at the start, but it helps doing my way around. These are the other ones that lots of people rave about, right? So I bought the silver and I tried that out, and I was like, yes, this is filling the gap that I've been feeling in my metallics world, because they have proper kind of what you expect out of mini paints consistency, if you haven't used them before. In fact, we might, depending on what time it is, probably get a chance to use them in a bit. And you get loads of them in a little set, and they're not necessarily cheap, but it does kind of just mean like you don't have to think about your metallics, which I quite like. You just go, okay, I want silver, so I'll start at this end. I'll ignore the weird colours they've given me over here. I'll start at this end, and then I'll highlight up as far as I want to go. And that's, and then you get a good looking metallic, a silver metallic or whatever, without trying too hard. Anyway, so that's my current metallic pick. But yeah, I mean, so I wonder if my experience with metallic inks would not just be very similar to my experience with the Vallejo metal color range, which I really, really like, as I say, but sometimes you want a metallic paint with a bit more body. But yeah, I'm obviously willing to give it a shot. I'm willing to give anything a shot. You know what? I bought shows the extent of my debauchery and lack of self-control. Debauchery is not the word I'm looking for, but you know what I mean. I went to the art shop the other day, quite a while ago now, to buy something very specific, and then I spotted the Molotow corner, and as per usual, I got sucked into the Molotow hole of looking for one that I don't already have, because I've got quite a few of them. And I picked up the Molotow metallic as well. Just one. I thought I'd show a little bit of restraint. So I picked up this dark silver. What are they calling it? Metallic Schwarz, metallic black, which I also kind of fancy giving a little whirl. That might be interesting. But honestly, metallic inks will probably be a little while before I branch out in that direction. But yeah, you know me. Try anything. Yeah, and adding ink. Well, yeah. So that's. I mean, again, that's the. That's always kind of been the mantra with the Vallejo metal color series. Is like, yeah, just buy a couple and then tint them with the inks to get the exact color you want. Which is super duper cool. But yeah, also sometimes when you're painting, whatever 50 Marines or whatever, and you need to do metallics. You just go, ugh, I don't want to have to worry about how much of this thing that, this black ink that I'm putting in here to tint it, or this sepia ink, not sepia, ochre ink that I'm putting, umber, there you go, got there eventually, umber ink I'm putting in here to tint it. I just want something that works out of the butt. That's speed painting Greg speaking now. Not display painting Greg. Alright. Okay. 3 more little heads, and then we can do some other bit. And we'll do silver, I suppose, because that's what we've just been talking about. Maybe we'll try some different silvers and see what they're like. Just because it's fun. Did anyone post to the doohickey, by the way? Discord. There you go. Sky blue. Okay, it is sky blue. All right. Yes, it was not blue. It was sky blue. Should I do that? There you go. Now you can see what I'm looking at. I'm sorry you won't make it food for thought. Not that you are here to hear me say that, but if you're one of those crazy people that watches the live stream after it's happened, then that's a good point. We don't have the lovely. Shouldn't be looking at that, should I? No, it doesn't matter. But yeah, it doesn't look interesting. We don't have Gil here today. I haven't heard from him in a while. Need to go chase him up. Where are you, Gil? So that's blue. That's sky blue, and I definitely have sky blue. In fact, that's what I said I was going to do when we worked out what it was. We were going to write on it what it is. Do I have a Sharpie here? Do it with a Sharpie if I can. I don't know where my Sharpie is. So I'm going to use the most ridiculous, that's not what I want, pen in the world to do this. It's my quote unquote cheating detail pen. One of these. Get one of them if you're having problems doing irises. It's got a teeny little thing. but it's not very good at writing. And this one is not. This one's a bit old, so maybe this is not what I should be writing with. God damn it! Oh, it's all falling apart. I wasn't feeling very well today, so I'm glad that I've made it this far. I'm entirely honest. I'm glad I haven't keeled over, but I don't know where my thing is. I'm very sad where my Sharpie is. Okay, how about we write sky blue and pink? There you go. Sky blue, and over here we're going to write AKA it's blue bud. It's blue. Yes, it's blue. It's a lovely shade of blue, but some people like to call sky blue. Oh, you know what? I did all of that. Oh my lord. Talk about unprofessional. I didn't change the thing. There you go. That's what I wrote. Oh, what a nightmare. What a fool I am. There you go. Sky blue, aka it's blue bud. There you go. My apologies. I don't know. I need a oh, sorry to see you go, Mr. Joe. Oh, you got it at 10. Okay, yeah, 10 to. Yeah, well, looking forward to having you for the remaining 10 minutes that you can be here. And sorry that you'll leave us, but I hope you have fun doing whatever you're going to go do, even if it's just go to bed. Yeah, I need someone else to come and run the things for me. I can't remember to hit the buttons, so who knows what we're looking at when. Important thing is that we all hang out and have fun. Paint our minis. Yeah, we were looking at the thing, weren't we? So sky blue, what else came up? Oh, we got pangolin scales. Pangolin scales. We missed that. Wait, there and there. There you go. See, look at that. It's looking lovely. Look at this little pink pangolin. It's gorgeous. Please don't give me COVID. Was that the thing? Was it pangolins? That was one of the vector species. Anyway, let's not get into that. That's not fun. Yeah, loving it. Loving it. Pink and red is a colour that to me goes together surprisingly well. Like it wouldn't have been like first thing I would have thought of, but they can look in the right balance, the right hues, and all the rest. With the right pink and the right red, they could be quite appealing. And that's what's going on your miniature, Mr. Will Miller, who once upon a time I thought was called Wee Me, because I thought they were eyes, because I'm a bit slow. We're almost done. One more little purple head to paint. That made me think of a very childish joke from when I was a child, and now I'm never going to be able to look at my own minis in the same way. Was it the name of a band or something? Anyway, I'm not going to get into that because we're family friendly here. Yeah, are they? Look at my little duties, and the little pangolin is adorable. For a second there, I thought you were talking about how cute the little tiny elves were, but then I realised you are definitely talking about Will Miller's very cute little pangolin, who is a little sweetie. All right, so silver, that's what we said we were going to do. So I don't have any silver ink to test, but I do have what I suspect, attached to my chair, is very similar, which is this stuff. So that's one we can try. That's the Vallejo metal colour that I was talking about. Goes through an airbrush very nicely if you're needing to do something like that, but also is not so bad with a brush either. Now, metallics generally, I find more manageable when they are used with a what I call a dry palette, and then someone said that's not a dry palette, that's just a palette. But yes, you know what I mean, not a wet palette. So we'll do this little setup here. We put him up there. Out of the way, chappies. Boop, boop, boop. There we go. Dry and wet. Very nice, very nice. Get that completely out of the way. Yes, you are looking at me, you're not looking at that. Good. And we'll put a little drop of that here. We'll see how that goes. Boom, boom. Yes. Okay. And put that. That's there. This is. We're going to be shaky. Sorry. 1 minute. Shaky. Ooh. Tell you what. Whilst I do that, because you probably don't want to look at a. There you go. Look at a cute pangolin while I do this. They have a very. You know what it is about the pangolins? It's the. It's the way they hold their hands. Like they look like they're not quite sure if they are where they should be, or if they're allowed to be where they are. They look like a little kid that's walked into a room and it isn't 100% sure, you know. Or it's like waiting for an adult to stop talking so that they can say, "Miss, John's been sick," or something like that. That's why they look cute. That's why pangolins look cute. Okay, if you don't believe me, you're wrong. And that's a fact. Dink chat. Right, so that's metal color. That is the what's the face? Molotow silver. These are all obviously the darkest silvers of the range. I only have the darkest one of that one anyway. And then the black metal. This what's one thing is this isn't a particularly dark metal color. So you can see maybe you can't see. They're a bit shiny. I'll put a little teeny splodge of that because we're only painting little teeny elves today. And let's just have a little look. What do we got? So what am I painting silver? I'm painting the exhausts of the jetbikes silver. With this brush, we're starting with the. Oh, it's very liquidy. This is why I love and hate this paint. Right, what actually? Okay, I think I see the shape. So yeah, this does feel like painting with an ink. So I wonder if it's just like a very similar. What do you call it? Like recipe for these Vallejo. I mean, it might just be repackaged silver ink, basically. I know Vallejo, obviously, they don't just repackage; they do make their own things. But yeah, it's got great coverage, more or less. And when it's been on the palette for like 5 minutes, it's actually easier, I think, to work with, depending on what exactly you're painting. But yeah, that's what I used for ages, for basically all my metallics. Like I said, I've got like 2 slightly brighter silvers, and the gold, which is a bit of a weird one, because their gold is like a very greeny sort of color, but I still like them. But working on Reddit tomorrow. Okie dokie. Thank you very much, George. We'll see you next time, I hope. All right, this is the Molotow silver. Let's see what that's like. Also good coverage, bit more body, bit easier to control. This is quite good actually. Oh no, Molotow, you're going to make me buy more of your paints. It depends on how many they have in their metallics range. It's still pretty liquidy. You can't see what I'm doing, can you? Sorry, I'm painting the middle guy. But very shiny, very metallic, pretty good looking result from what I can see. It's a Molotow paint, so it'll also go through an airbrush, no problem, I know that much. From my work with all of the other Molotow paints, I cannot see into this corner. There we go. Yes, yes, yes. Very good. You missed me banging on about game design for far too long, James. Aren't you disappointed? You could have heard about all my ideas. So that, yep, also gets a pass. Nothing to write. I do like it as a colour, actually, I would say. It's got, again, definitely know where this is going to come across on camera. It's slightly darker, but it's also got like a slightly kind of, do I need to touch up there? Bluish kind of tinge, and maybe even better coverage than the Vallejo. So yeah. And then this is a very different prospect, I know already. This has got like, you can see that it doesn't drip like the other one. It doesn't like, you know, slide around the palette like the other ones, because this has got a proper like mini paint consistency, and also got great coverage. So, you know, whatever. And really nice fine mica pigments, I believe they're called, in metallic paints. Like all of these do, all of these ones that I'm using. Basically, they're not the Vallejo game color range, or GW have got some good metallics, I believe, but they've also got some real duds I've even used. I own like a couple of contrast paints. That's all I've got from Citadel, but I've used them elsewhere, and yeah, not particularly impressed by the GW metallics that I've used. But these scale color rather, are lovely. Yeah, I know, it's all good, man. It's all good, all does the job. But in terms of control, this is definitely just easier to use, but also thicker means, you know, depending on the detail you're painting, you know, you don't want to gum it up, and metallic paints are the worst for gumming up detail. But you also don't want to really thin metallic paints. That's kind of the weird thing. So yeah, I'm gonna have to love you and leave you two dudes. See you next time. Yes, thank you very much, Mr. James. We will indeed see you next time. Oh, I mean, hope to see you next time. Lovely seeing you, sir, and chatting. So which one am I going to use in the end? Which one? I'm just going to go with the one that's easiest. Tonight, I'm after easy. Paints that are nice and easy to control. And if I do decide that, well, I'm going to do some kind of highlighting, but I've got further options with this kind of within the range for highlighting, so that's nice. All right. Small music break. Did I finish my tea, by the way? No, he still has a mouthful of tea. It's cold now, but never mind. We need liquid. Oh, I found my pink. That's the pink that I use. Oops. That's the pink that I use to base coat these guys. It's also Molotow. Magenta. It's not even, I mean, it's, yeah. I wouldn't call that magenta Molotow, although, what do I know? It's a nice colour anyway. Great for going under yellow. All right. Getting our exhausts painted up. Having a good time. Did we get any? I doubt it. Yeah, you people. Are you even painting? Who is even painting? Who's even painting? Come on. Show me what you got, you cheeky chappies. I'm definitely going to go on a hunt for Gil though. After this, Gil is another stream regular. An all-round nice guy. Well, at least on the internet he is. It's weird though, isn't it? I've never had a lot of internet buddies in my life. I've not been a very actively online person. I mean, exclusively internet buddies, you know what I mean? Until started doing the channel and stuff, and now I've got loads of internet buddies. And it's funny, isn't it? Because I don't know what any of you look like. You all know what I look like, but I don't know what any of you look like. We could pass each other on the streets of London, and I would have no idea. You might, if you spotted me and you recognised me, but I wouldn't. which actually reminds me, we talked ages ago about having a little meetup, maybe at Bad Moon Cafe. We should do that. That would be fun. At least for the people that are London or near enough to get in. Maybe have a game. Maybe I'll teach you how to play Bell and Calum if you're lucky. We should. Maybe better. What's maybe better, Fredudu? This is where we've got the delay problem where your messages come in. You hear my voice later. Then it's the one thing. I'm sure there's no technical way of getting. I mean, I've got as fast as my internet connection's everything here, because we've got true fiber coming into the house. So it's no longer, the delay is no longer that. It's just that there's a small delay built into just the fact that we're sending information all over the world through cables, and maybe a satellite or two. Anyway, so yes, I'm not sure what you're referring to, Sal. Maybe it's better we don't see your face. No, don't say such a terrible thing. I'm quite convinced that you are all the most jolly people to look at. Every single one of you. Anyway, even if you're not, who cares? Because we are here to paint little soldiers. That's what we're here for. Dee da-dum ba-dum. Yeah, it was it's nice when we get all of the regulars in, but a little handful of regulars, even some regulars that don't come that often, is also very nice. It's nice to see a little mechanical Paul earlier. Yeah, community. There's a thing on Instagram at the moment. I'm not a big Instagram person, but I do have an account and I do post there, and I do see stuff on there occasionally because I feel obliged to be honest. But yeah, there's an account on there that's about like hobby spaces someone started, which is quite a cool idea. I thought people like they post a picture of their hobby desk, and then they talk about that, and then it's like post something that they're proud of, and post something that they're working on or something. There's like a little set thing, and you can scroll through, and then there's a picture of the thing, and then what the person has to say about it. One of the set things, I'll try and find that account at some point maybe, so you can see what I'm talking about. One of the set things is what inspires you, and I know this is going to sound cheesy, but I was thinking of throwing a submission to the guy, just because I think it's an interesting little project he's doing. I'm saying he, I don't know who it is, I'm sorry, that's my bad. May very well be a she or something else entirely. But the thing that inspired me, I was thinking about that, I was like, genuinely is the community. And I know that sounds cheesy, but like the little community that's sort of blossomed around the channel, out of the muck that is the GRG YouTube channel. All these lovely people, and genuinely is like one of the biggest inspirations. I mean, there's kind of the there's the kind of, I don't want to say parochial, but the kind of like typical inspirations of looking through pictures, reading codexes, seeing something pretty in nature, some like combination of colours or play of light or whatever, all that kind of stuff. That's obviously inspiring. But in terms of like, the thing that makes me paint when I don't necessarily feel like paint, when I'm not in the mood or whatever, or the thing that gets me over like I don't know, some crisis of faith in my painting abilities or all that kind of stuff. The real, like the actual inspiration stuff is the community now. It's you guys. Oh, wasn't that a lovely little soppy little speech? Yeah. I mean, part of it's just responsibility. I'm just like, oh man, I've got to make another video. I'm not going to paint. But really, it's, you know, it's just fun to shoot the cadoodles and share the hobby with excellent folk. That's what we like. That's what we're into. That and painting tiny little space elves. So small. So small. And, you know, I was so convinced. My God. I should have just done one base of these. I was like, this is going to be it. This is going to be the month where I do the live stream and I finish the thing that I'm painting in the live stream. Because what? They're jet bikes. You know, there's nothing to them. And I do, because I don't want to do airbrushing on the live stream. We tried that once, didn't work. You know, I've done 90% of the work, he told himself. The thing is if I was just painting, I think I probably would get them done. But when you talk and paint, it's a bit different. Try it sometime. And it's late. And I don't care, because it's just about having fun. Alright. It is understandable. The inspiration stuff, is that what we're talking about, Mr. Doodoo? Call you Mr. Doodoo now, that's terrible. Mr. Fred Doodoo. I try myself to build something through my blog, unlike this motivates. Yeah, normally post every Saturday, and today, instead of posting, just delete. Oh no! Instead of posting, you deleted an article. Oh dear. Is that a good thing though? Was it like a yes? I'm moving on from this article. I know better now. Or what happened there? Yeah, I'm sorry I don't read French. Otherwise I would definitely be following the article. Oh, mind you, there's Google Translate. I forget about that. And it's quite reliable now, right? For that stuff. For like as long as you're not writing poetry about minis. Yes. Yeah, I mean, there's part of me that's tempted. I think there are some videos that I would probably delete, but at the same time, it's the journey, it's the process for me for this. I'm not saying that you shouldn't delete your articles that you don't like. That's fine, but I don't think I've never posted a video that I would like take back. You know, I've never said anything or done something in a video I'm like, no, that's not how you should do it. Actually, I've changed my mind completely. I mean, the channel's less than a year old, isn't it, really? I mean, in reality, you know, like in terms of, I think that the channel itself is probably now a year or something like that. But since I've actually been posting regularly, it's been less than a year. So maybe I'll feel differently in another few years' time about old videos. But yeah, they're all right. But some of them are just a bit, I didn't get the idea across in the way that I wanted to, or something like that, right? But it's yeah, I mean, one article a week, one video a week, they're big commitments. I'm quite happy that I've managed to stay on top of it so far. Dun, dun, dun. And you know, I said I was a video ahead. I got for the first time in ages, I got one video ahead. Like, so the video that's coming out next Monday was ready last week, and I was like, yes, I need this because I've got a week where I'm going to be out of the country, so I need a buffer, and this is really, really great, and I'm going to build on the buffer, and I'm going to keep on, so that I'm not always, you know, doing kind of. It's never. I mean, it's very rarely last minute, but you know, sometimes it's like I really have to slog to get the video done in time. And then then my mum came over this weekend, and it took me slightly longer to paint the Night Lords than I was hoping, and you know, so I'm not behind, but I'm gonna lose my buffer if I'm not careful. I really have to nail that video down quickly. Can I do it tomorrow? I think I'm gonna do it tomorrow. I think I've got time to edit tomorrow. There we go. And then I have to do another one next week to maintain the buffer. Yeah, and it'll all be good. Yes. Misclicked and poof. Oh no, you did it by accident. Oh man, I thought you were like saying like instead of writing an article this week, you decided to like trim out. Oh man, Mr. Fred. Oh, that sucks. I mean, I know this is a bit kind of hindsight is 2020 and all that kind of stuff, but shouldn't you be like writing the articles in like offline word editing software or something, or even Google Docs, because Google Docs is sort of effectively constantly saving, right? So you can't really lose stuff, and then just copy pasting it into your blog provider. Oh man, that really sucks. That really sucks, losing any written work. I do a bit of writing myself, and I mean, touch wood, it hasn't happened for ages. I don't remember the last time it happened, but yeah, when you lose like a chunk of something that you've been writing, that is absolutely heartbreaking. I feel for you, my man. I feel for you. That sucks. All right. So we've done some metallics. We've done some bikey things, some blacky bits. We've done some helmets. What else do we need to do? There's just something. It's not quite right, is it? Something's missing. Hello, Science Pie. Yay! It's a science pie. That's what was missing. A science pie. Glad you could pop in and say hello. I hope you are doing well, sir. No autosave, oh man. Yeah, so maybe you should write it in like Google Docs, because Google Docs does autosave constantly, and then copy paste it over. Is that a feasible workflow? I don't know, but yeah, I mean, maybe not, because you've got to like put in pictures and all that kind of stuff as well, I suppose. But yeah, anyway, I mean, sorry, I'm just sad that you lost all your work, man. That sucks majorly. So what we got these little dudes on bikes, and we do need to paint those black. We need to highlight that. Some edge highlights. That'll make me feel good. That'll make me feel better about them. And for that, we will do some of this. Yes. How are we doing, Mr. Science Pie? Are we well? Beep 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 beep. Just having a look. Oh wow, that's really coming along. Should we have a look? There's only one extra post in there since the last time we looked, but I think this is worth looking at. Look at that. That is really coming along well. It's gorgeous. Look at the little man. I love the textured shading on his belly as well, in particular. And this. So are we going for like a non-metallic gold maybe here? And we started with the green, which is actually a really fantastic base. Like that shade of green is a really fantastic base for non-metallic gold. The one that you did with the black and yellow. But yeah, he's lovely. Got a little pupil on there, unless he's going to be white-eyed. Really coming along. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Right. Did we gain and then immediately lose a science pie? Where are you, sir? Tell me how you are. I'm assuming you're not hobbying tonight, because you'd be with us if you were hobbying. One assumes, one hopes. But we've been having a nice time, chatting rubbish, posting pictures, but although not enough pictures this month, this stream. That's the way it goes though sometimes, eh? Sometimes we have nice active chats. Sometimes we have nice active posts. Sometimes we have nice active both. But the nights are drawing in. I mean, does that mean more hobbying or less hobbying for people? I don't know. It probably means same hobbying for me, since I'm doing it a lot of the time anyway. Ooh, look at all these lovely shapes on there. Nothing like a bit of an edge highlight to get you feeling something again. That's going to be too thick. Oh, it's still too thick. Why are you so thick? It's because I'm using... I haven't got a dry bit of cloth. That's what I need. That's what we're after. Lovely, lovely. So, how are we doing on time? Yeah, I knew it. It's getting to that. It's getting to the stage. It's funny, isn't it? We pushed back the time because I was losing my mind by the time I got to 11. But now it's like, well, now I'm losing my mind when it gets to 10. 10 past. It's just like my brain knows. You know, you got 20 minutes left. You're autopilot now. No. It's also because I think I might be coming down with a cold, but never mind. Oh, and the cat's come to say hello too. So yeah, we've got about 20 minutes left. If you have been working on something this evening, do post it in the Discord. Shall I do the thing again? Do I still have it on Doohickey? No, the invite seems to have left. Oh no, there it is. There you go. That's the Discord. You know, I don't think there's anyone in here that doesn't know that already. But that's where you can go post your stuff if you've been working on something. It would be nice to see. Share your hobby wealth with the team. You said this is the flow. I think I'll go like this. Is that you mentioning about the blog thing, about pre-doing it in Google Docs? Is that what you mean? Because yeah, that's I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like I say, 2020 is hindsight, isn't it? Hindsight is 2020. You know, it's easy for me to sit here and go, oh, you should do that now, but I probably would have done the same as you. I do that, but luckily I haven't fallen foul yet. And frequently now I'm not writing anything long enough. I'm talking about like video descriptions and stuff. It doesn't matter if I lose, because it's not a lot of text, but if you've been working on something for hours, just to lose it to a crash or whatever, the worst. Yes, all right. We are getting there with these little chappies. They will not be finished in the stream. That's fine. I'll finish them some other time. Or maybe I won't. Won't even finish them. It's my hobby. I'll do what I want. Dee dee dee. Oof. Oof. Is anyone going to get the Votan box set, by the way? Has anyone already ordered the Votan box set? Or are we a Votan free space? You know that I'm getting it. We've spoken about that already. What do you guys think of the whole aesthetic? I mean, that's been very controversial. It's been very divisive, isn't it? There's lots of people who are like, yeah, this is super cool. And there is a similar number of people who are like, ew, why do they look like weird NASA spacemen and not fantasy dwarves in space? I mean, they were never going to look like fantasy dwarves in space, were they? Let's be honest. That's not what GW does with the 40k, and it hasn't been for a long time. Enough to paint already. Yeah, I know, right? Cat reveal. We should do a cat reveal sometime. He used to, when did he used to? Oh, like during lockdown, I was like a member of various online groups, but they were sort of writing related groups. So it's just like everyone sat around talking in Zoom meetings. But yeah, one of my cats used to come and pay a visit basically every time. He used to pop up and sit on my lap and make a show of himself, but he doesn't do it when I'm painting, obviously, because I'm hunched over myself, so I don't think he feels welcome, bless him. But maybe one day we'll do a little. I like the buggy thing, but the truck is awful. Huh? The buggy. Yeah, the buggy's like the buggy. Hang on, I thought it's the same thing. Aren't they basically the same thing? Isn't there like you got like the big the land fortress? No, land fortress is a stupid name. All fortresses are. If it's called a land fortress, no, what's it called? All fortresses are on the land. It can't be land fortress. What have they called that thing? I say all fortresses on the land. Someone's going to be like, "What about sea fortresses?" Well, you know what I mean. But I know there's the bikes, the hover bikes, which were fairly divisive because people wanted trikes. People who don't want Warhammer to change wanted trikes, and they had like funny little hover things. And then there's the medium-sized buggy. Oh yeah, with just like a guy on the back, right? Yeah. And then there's the big Hecatan. Is it Land Fortress? Is that what it's called? Why is that the only thing that's coming into my head? I'm amazed that my brain has retained that it's a Hecatan something. I'm pretty sure that's correct. It looks a bit Lego-y, doesn't it? I think that's, and people have been sort of memeing on that because they've been painting him up or doing like photo edits of them painted like the old Lego sets. I get it. I mean, they want like the space explorer vibe. I get. I mean, that was Jez a good one as well, wasn't he? That bloody Jez is a busy boy. He's designing everything for GW at the moment. It feels like. Yeah, I get it. But I'll be honest with you. Like, I think that there's some of the troops look awesome. The ones that have like, I think they've nailed a really nice kind of vibe with the runes and all that kind of stuff on a lot of the models, where it definitely feels like nicely understated but present enough to sort of be the nod that you're looking for to the origins, let's say, as space dwarves. But yeah, I'm not sold on the big tanky chap either, and but it's just personal preference in it at the end of the day. But yeah, I really like. I like some of their exo suit guys, their kind of Terminator equivalents. I thought they looked pretty cool. The living ancestor, whatever they're called now, the Psyker character, also was pretty cool. Some of the robots, like everyone was joking about the one-legged robots. I was like, what's going on there? They've tried to do the like hidden flyer base thing. And it does just look like they're all hopping around on single legs. But that's one of those things that I think is going to feel different in the model as well. When something's 3D, those kinds of effects often feel very different. And GW is kind of known for sometimes taking photos at not always the most flattering angle of the mini. Hecatan is Hecatan Land Fortress. That's generally what it's called. It's so ridiculous. Why is it called a land fortress? What else would it be? They're certainly not going to have a sea fortress, are they? Because Warhammer 40,000 is not a sea game. Why is it called a land fortress? It's not like some nod to Land Raider being invented. Land Raiders being invented by Jimmy Land or whatever that guy's name was supposed to be. That seems very silly to me. I don't know if I buy that. I don't know where the hecatons come from either. I don't know what that's a reference to. There must be some like, I don't know, Celtic or whatever, wherever they're drawing their naming inspiration for these dwarves. Land Fortress. Oh, GW, you do some odd things sometimes. Because, like, I get it if cause it's like supposed to be like a fortress on wheels. So, like, I get the fortress, like, but like, why land? You couldn't call it like a mobile fortress. That sounds silly, but like, I don't know. I feel like Land Fortress is a very strange choice. But yeah, anyway, so the Carls, all the character models, I thought looked pretty cool. I'm not a massive fan of GW's robot aesthetic. Like, I get that it's kind of a nod to, you know, golden era sci-fi with the big round heads and all that kind of stuff. Because I really respect they feel like they've got really like strong top down, in a good way, design choices going on at the moment. Generally, like, they know that, you know, we know that the squats kind of are descended, if you like, from humans, and that their technology has like common roots, so their robots look like sort of the same lineage as the Men of Iron robots, or the very old, you know, like the 30K robots, and even some of the AdMech robots. I get that. That's cool. I like that they're doing that, and you know, I don't know if it was on purpose or whatever, but the fact that, you know, that some of the weapons have kind of a Tau-ish tinge to them almost makes sense, because of you know, there was that moment where the squats sort of semi-existed as demiurgs, were they called, in Battlefleet Gothic, and they trade with them, and you know, they're more open to technological advance and learning things from Xenos than humans are, and you know, the Imperium is, and all that kind of stuff. So I think that there's some really nice, like, design, kind of clever design going on there, with keeping things kind of in the same universe and what have you. But fundamentally, I'm not sure I'm into the domey headed robots. It's not my like idea of what a cool robot looks like, which is neither here nor there, let's be frank. I also, this is something I brought up with James the other day, actually, is like, I find it very strange that they made this big fuss in the lore and all the articles on the lore that they released about how in Votan society, the robots and the humans, or the Votan, the squats, are considered equals, and you know, there's no difference. You know, you may be a, what are they called, ironkin, or you may be a whatever, fleshkin, I don't know. It makes zero difference in Votan society, and I thought, oh, that's cool. You know, it's just an interesting lore thing, and it's sort of, you know, interesting of GW to do a race that isn't just horrendous in all ways. You know, at least there's some kind of semblance of kind of equality or whatever in Votan society, it seems. But then that's just not reflected in the models at all, because if you look at the models, okay, yeah, so you've got some soldiery, like regular foot troop types that are pretty like that are just like the other foot soldiers. Okay, fine, but like every other robot is in some way just assisting the fleshy Votan that's there. There's like the one that's there's like a heavy weapons team, I think, and it's like this lady Votan who's like carrying the big gun and is ready to do the shooting, and then she's got a little robot helper behind her who's carrying the little axe for her or whatever, you know. And the living ancestor Psyker character has got, I think those are supposed to be slightly different kinds of robots, to be fair. I think they're supposed to be subservient ones, but you know, it's I am the fleshy Psyker character, and these are my robot assistants. So you know, if you're going to do it, GW, let's have an Ironkin character model. You know, like one. You know, maybe they've got it already in the bag. It's on its way. But Yeah, I want to see that. I want to see like an Ironkin Psyker. That wouldn't make sense, would it? Or an Ironkin commander unit, you know, that takes his force into battle. If they're really equal, then we should see them at every level of Votan society, should we not? Alright. The Hekaton Land Fortress is the Kin's signature combat vehicle. This chunky, heavy support tank packs overwhelming firepower onto a rugged frame and can lug around a hefty 12 models. This beast can go toe-to-toe with some of the biggest and best battle tanks in the 41st millennium, thanks to its durable void armor. Toe-to-toe? That's not true, is it, GW? This tank in the current codex and meta is going to absolutely destroy everything it comes into contact with. That's more honest, isn't it? And has a big, like a massive capacity, troop capacity, and some of the best guns currently. I don't know what it's like point wise, to be fair. I'll know tomorrow when the box arrives. Anyway, that's just G-dubs doing their usual shenanigans. But yeah, all this talk of dwarves. Come on, GW, you need to give us some more space elves to paint. Yeah, toe to toe, my foot. Bum-tish. How are we doing? 25 past. We've got 5 minutes left of the stream. 5 minutes or so. Fredoodle's got some stuff in the thing. I'll leave it for a little bit if anyone wants to sneak in some stuff. Yeah, new rules blow. I mean, is it necessary? I just don't. So my question is there so many competitive players? Is that such a massive portion of their sales that they have to convince all of them to buy an army for the new codex every time that it comes out? Otherwise they won't meet their quarterly, goals or whatever it is that they do as a big company. Or do they just like the hype cycle of it? Because I don't collect armies because they play well. I collect armies because I want them. I like the way they look, I like the lore, I want to paint something from it or whatever. And who knows, at some point in the distant future I might have a small force of basically every faction in 40k or whatever, because at some point something will catch my attention. But I'm certainly not buying it because it's got the best current codex. And I'm sure there are, we know that there are like the top end competitive players out there who are buying like armies for new codexes because that's the one that's going to do well in the tournament and that's how they enjoy the game, and bully to them, as they say. All good and grand, fine, if that's what they want to do. But are so many of them buying whole new armies that it's worthwhile constantly chasing your tail with rules bloat like this? It just seems like it must just be annoying. And it's not GW is a big company. They're hiring clever people. I'm certain that the games designers are putting a lot of thought and stuff into this. They've got play testers, so they know when the rules are out of balance before it goes to print. You know what I mean? Before it goes to print before it goes to everyone. It just, I don't know, it seems self-defeating. It seems to cause more bad blood in the community. I mean, there are tournaments talking about just disallowing Votan completely until GW straightens them out and tones them down a little bit. Is it worth it, G-dubs? I don't know. I guess it's got to be, otherwise they wouldn't keep on doing it. It'll be interesting to see what 10th, if 10th has any major sort of effect on that, or if they keep on with the strategy of bloating. The wave serpent doesn't. What are we seeing? Also, GW in my eyes are a silly bunch of pushovers. Sometimes I like Jova guy, did you hear about one-page rules? Yes. I know of one-page rules. I have just never. I read them but never really checked them out. I don't know. I don't play enough to like for this to really even matter to me. It matters to me. Pardon me. Only in so much as the hobby generally matters to me, and GW is the hobby for most people, kind of in its entirety. Not many people are playing games outside of. Well, that's not true. Lots of people are playing games, but no single game has nearly as many players as GW. It does end up being important whether we like it or not, I suppose, is my point. But what was I saying? So one-page rules, yeah. So I read the rules. They seem cool, but just not ever tried playing a game with them. The other thing as well is like one-page rules. If I'm going to learn a whole new rule system, to be honest with you, and I think that one-page rules probably now has evolved a little bit to be its own thing a bit more. But one-page rules is obviously always in its inception, I think, was just a easier, faster way to play Warhammer 40,000, right? And to me, if I'm going to bother learning a whole new rule set, even if it's just a one-page one, I kind of, to be honest, feel like I want to do it in a whole different universe or a whole different game system or something that's very, very different to the GW system. Just that's what would interest me about learning a new game, I suppose. But never say never. I'm open to it. 40k is all about winning games. Well, I mean, yeah, to a lot of people. To me, it's about friends and painting things. But yeah. Well, so with the rules thing, yeah, they make good minis. I think a lot of people say that they still make the best minis in the miniature world. I don't know if that's true. I don't. I paint all of this stuff, but I don't think unfortunately, I don't get out of the GW world enough, maybe to really judge that. But I've seen other stuff, and yeah, I think that GW probably still are making my favourite minis anyway, as broadly speaking, in terms of big companies. But rules-wise, it just feels like they're constantly fighting themselves to me. A classic example is the AP thing, where everything has some things get a fair few things get AP -1, and then some really chunky stuff gets AP -2, and like one or two things get AP -3 or whatever, right? But then they start building in all of basically every troop gets AP -1, more or less, all the baseline troops. And so then the things that were AP -1, well, they're either going to be the same as a troop, or we have to push them up a bit further, and then push, and then and now they throw in so this armor cancels AP and that armor cancels AP. It's just like you've ended up in the same place, AP -1, but with armor that cancels 1 point of AP is AP 0, and if everyone's getting this and everyone else is getting this, then just don't do it. But I suppose they've got to keep the rule system churning as much as they have to keep the models churning in order to keep the game kind of moving. Maybe that's the kind of thinking and how it works. I don't know. It's not. There's got to be so many considerations with the company the size of GW as well now at this point. I mean, yeah, we talk about the shareholders and all that kind of stuff. That's something that's obviously a portion of business that I don't want to get too into this kind of stuff, but it's not necessarily the thing that I love about the business world. But there's other stuff as well about just sort of keeping content out there, keeping the game alive, and maybe that's kind of the way they've taken it. But I don't know. I think a lot of less committed players, people like me who are more into it in a broader sense, mostly painting, a lot of lore, and I do enjoy a game now and then. It just gets very tiring, all of that stuff. I mean, Imperium's always going to get lots of models. They can't. I've found peace with that. And now my favourite faction did get a fairly broad refresh, so I don't feel too bad about that. yeah, everything, all of Eldar tanks and mechs and stuff all still look really good. I wouldn't change the. I just like the Falcon, the Falcon and the Wave Serpent and all the rest of that chassis to get a new mold. That's all I want. I think the mold is showing its age because I don't mean like it's showing its age and like I'm sure it's not worn out or anything, but I just mean like the technology for making those molds now is much better. So they could make like, Wave Serpents don't stick together properly. You've got to like clamp them sometimes because they kind of like they don't quite sit well and all that kind of stuff. If you put together like most new tanks, they all fit together very nicely. So yeah, anyway, that was a bit of that felt like almost like a downer ending. That's not what I meant to do. I like GW. I like their property. I think probably most of the people that work there are wonderful and doing their best to make it a fun and interesting game for everyone, but sometimes they do things which I find a bit strange. That's all I'm saying. So it is 35 minutes past 10 o'clock on Saturday, the 24th of September 2022. As you can tell by the way I'm wiping up excess paint from my palette, I'm calling it a night here, guys. It's been a pleasure. I'm going to pop in the chat quickly over here to see. Oh, we've got a couple of things. So we'll do a little last roundup. You can throw something in there super quick, maybe. That's who we got him last time. Lovely Orcses. Oh, I like. Does this skin tone turn into this skin tone as part of your process, or are you going with a different look on these guys? I quite like muted orcs. I went for relatively dark with my orcs. I think it's, I don't know, cool. But yes, these are looking ace. Very, very nice. Lovely, lovely. And then Mr. Pangolin. Oh, he's got little red eyes. He's suddenly gone from cute to being a little bit terrifying. Good job, Will. That was. I like this. This is a twist ending. We've just been talking about how wonderful and cute the pangolin is all evening, and now what we get is terrifying red-eyed pangolin of doom. Good job. He is looking ace, and looking forward to seeing beauty shots when he's all done and done. Weird spammy message in there. We didn't get any spam today. YouTube must be doing better because we used to get loads of spam. I don't know what's going on there. Beep 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 beep. Yes. Fredudu, what is that? Yes. I've told you. Yes. Very good. Oh yes, just changing the quantity of lime green to make some variation. Okay, ready to yes. Ready to nibble toes. If that's referring to your pangolin, Will, that is even more terrifying than before. So thank you for leaving us with this rather terrifying situation. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to get that out of the way because you can't see it anyway, and you're not going to see it again. That camera is now showing a really disgusting shot of straight into my bin. So be glad that I've turned that off. It's been a pleasure as always, my good friends, my hobby buddies. I should move the camera maybe over here because then the bit that I can look at the screen, then I'm not completely looking away from you. I don't know how streamers who look at the camera all the time do it. It feels so strange to me. Does it feel? I guess it feels better for you guys. It feels like I'm looking at you, like Will's terrifying pangolin that's going to nibble your toes. But it's still kind of cute, isn't it, that pangolin? Let's be honest. Anyway, what am I saying? It's the end of the stream. I hope you had a nice time. I hope you had. If you had half as nice a time as I did, you had an excellent time. So that would be good. I hope that happened for you. And I'll see you next time. It'll be the end of... Oh, yes. Next month is fine. Month after that, we'll talk about it when we get there. I can't remember exactly what my schedule is. Yeah, next month I'll see you at the end of it. I'm looking down here because I'm looking for that screen. There you go. Top class professional live streaming here. And yeah, see you around, guys. Bye.